Man, linebackers are just a dying breed. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the locker room. We are back on the Thursday, starting the Masters, which I am very excited for, but that is not what we're going to be talking about. Although I do hope my boy Brooks Koepka can pull through and win the Masters for me. Maybe we'll see a little bit of Tiger in there. It's kind of a long shot, but who knows? He is the greatest of all time, so we'll see what he can do. But today we're here to talk about the linebackers who, yikes, all I got to say, not a great linebacker class, and it seems to always be that way. I mean, we're seeing not that many fantastic linebackers coming out of the draft anymore. Last year, we only had Jack Campbell, and he was really, or in the first round, we only had Jack Campbell. So linebackers are kind of a dying breed. We don't see too many top picks of them anymore, but it's good. I'm not a fan of this class for linebackers. I think I have 2 second-round grades on all the linebackers, and that is probably a lot higher than most people because I just don't think this is a very good class. But if you guys have not watched our previous videos, we have talked about the D-line and the edge, and then we have talked about the entire offense side of the ball for the 2024 NFL draft, which is coming up, and it's going to be in Detroit. I'm going to be heading up there to see all the activities and stuff. I'm not sure if I'll be actually at the stage, but going to be interesting to see how things played out. But I'm very excited for the draft. I'm very excited to talk, or I'm not really that excited to talk about the linebackers, but we're going to do it anyway. So let's start off with number 5. Coming at number 5 is going to be Edgerrin Cooper, the linebacker out of Texas A&M. In my notes, I got him at a 5th to 6th round pick, so I have nothing special. I said he's an okay athlete overall, but I think that he's a solid tackler, which is probably why I have him this high. But the solid tackling, and then things I really think he struggles with is I think he's very bad at knowing where the run's going sometimes as far as reading the play and that play rec. And I feel like sometimes with the tackling, he can take bad angles. It's not all the time, but he can make good tackles. He's strong like that, but overall, I think he can get better of taking tackle angles. And then in zone coverage, I think it's like he just stands there. He doesn't make any adjustments in zone coverage when the receivers are coming into his zone. He doesn't make it hard on the QB. It's like he's just standing there. So I did not like his zone coverage at all, and I think his man coverage might be worse. Didn't see a lot of it at Texas A&M, I must say. Did not see a lot of his man coverage, but there's just sometimes in zone where it looks like he's about to go one-on-one with a running back or receiver, and they fly right by him. I know it's zone coverage, but just from what I've seen out of that, it looks like he would struggle in man coverage, so his zone coverage would likely be better. It's probably why they had him there, but he's really not effective in zone coverage at all. Not really a pass rusher. I think he's just a solid tackler overall. I mean, he's an okay athlete, solid tackler. Is going to be a guy who can maybe come in as a rotational guy, fill a hole, but overall, he's not going to be a starting linebacker. But I think he's the 5th best in the class, and I got him at a 5th to 6th round pick. So at that point, I got Edgerrin Cooper, number 5. Coming in number 4 is going to be Peyton Wilson. I think this is going to be, I've seen as far as rankings, this is pretty much the consensus number 1 linebacker that I've seen. And I'm not saying he's bad or anything, because I think from my number 5 spot to the number 4, I have a whole 2-round draft grade jump. So I have Peyton Wilson at a 3rd round pick, in my opinion. I don't think he's a 2nd round pick. I'm going to say, I don't think that there's just too much risk with Peyton Wilson at taking him in the 2nd round. Sure, he's by far the most athletic backer in the class. I think he has very good speed, change of direction. He's very good in zone coverage. He can get to the ball. And I think he's a decent tackler. He's all right in tackling. I think he's good in man coverage. I just think that his play rec and as far as the mental side of the game can get a lot better. Looks a bit undersized on the field. That's another thing. He is a bit undersized. I think that once when a lineman gets on him or even a receiver gets on him, he's not really good at block shedding and getting around that block. And he gets set on a blitz a lot. He gets a lot of blitzes. He gets a lot of opportunities on the blitz, but I really don't think he does much. I didn't see much out of him. There's really nothing on that blitz that stood out to me from his pressure. And then I think that he also picks up the wrong gap, which also comes to the mental side, not being able to locate where the ball is at, maybe he's filling his gap correctly, but on film to me, it does not look right. It just looks like he's going the wrong way and he's not making the tackle correctly. So that Peyton Wilson, a lot of upside, but with me, I don't think that it's good to take the upside on linebackers. We've seen it with guys like Isaiah Simmons. We're taking the upside on the linebacker. It doesn't work out. You need a guy who really doesn't have any risk, a guy who will be able to just do the things you need them to do. That's very key at the linebacker position. And I think Peyton Wilson struggles with those things. So that's why I have him at number 4. A lot of upside, but I don't like upside in my linebackers. I like floor, and Peyton Wilson I don't think has the floor at his current rate or his current position in that to be in the NFL. Coming in number 3 is going to be Michigan's Junior Colson. I actually do like Junior Colson a decent amount. I don't think he's the most athletic by any means. I don't think he's the best pass coverer, but I think he's very good run stopper, a very solid run stopper. He might even be the best in the draft. So that's what I like about him. He can definitely play in the NFL as a run stopper. I think he knows where the running back's going. He has a high IQ at the position, and I think that's very solid. And even in man coverage, I would say he's okay. I would say he's okay. He can cover running back if he needs to. He's not going to go man-to-man with a receiver. But overall, for his play style, I think that his man coverage will do just fine in the NFL. I think that he doesn't have a great pass rush. But yet again, you're not drafting him to be a pass rusher. But pass rush, not the greatest. And then I think, again, he's a strong tackler, and he's not the most athletic. He's not the most athletic as a guy like Peyton Wilson or even guys like Jalen Ford, these athletic freaks. He's not like that. He's more of a guy who's going to come in, the type of linebacker I like, who's going to come in and he's going to make the high IQ play and make the tackle. He is very strong, good, strong run defender, which is what I like out of a linebacker. Because my feelings is, sure, you need a linebacker to cover, but if you're relying it completely on covering, just put a safety who can tackle down there, and I think you'll have a lot more success. But if you're drafting like a run stop, goal line run tackler, I think that Junior Colson's your guy. I like him a lot. I think he's number 3 in the class for me. Coming in at number 2 is, I don't know if I've seen this guy much higher on the list, but I really like him. He's a second round pick for me. That's going to be Curtis Jacobs out of, I believe, Penn State, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Penn State. So really like him. Curtis Jacobs. I think he's very athletic. I wouldn't say very, but he's athletic enough. He's very solid. I like him a lot. He's very solid in the run game, and as I feel he is very good play rec. And the one thing, he fills holes correctly, and he allows them to bounce. And he had solid corners out there, which is they were able to make the tackle. I think if he has solid corners in the NFL, he's going to be a very nice addition to an NFL defense as he causes run to bounce. He's not the guy who's going to make the tackle, but he'll cause it to bounce and he can rely on his teammates. So that's what I really like about him. I think he has very good speed that helps him in zone and man coverage a lot, where he has very good awareness in zone coverage. He adjusts to the routes. He knocks receivers off the routes, and he adjusts to the zones, making it very hard for the quarterback, which is what I like. I think he's a solid tackler. I just think that he can wrap up a bit better as far as he'll hit him hard, but then kind of just lets go. So that's something that really needs to fix. I think that might be my biggest issue with him. He just needs to wrap up a bit better. And I think he bites on play action a bit too much. I think that the play fakes do get him. Not sure how we'll do against like read options, but that's more of an ends job. But play action, he'll sometimes bite, which I think he can improve on. And I think he's very vulnerable to blindside blocks. He turns one way and he completely counts that other side of the field out where he's going to turn and he might get blown up. So that's going to be an issue. But overall, very athletic player, very smart player. Is going to be able to, I think, be a rotational player in the NFL, maybe even starter. He's got that potential. But overall, a solid floor with a higher potential, which is what I like about him. So that Curtis Jacobs, all overall at number 2. Coming in at number 1 is going to be my man Cedric Gray. He's my highest graded linebacker, and I would take him in the second round because this is a guy who I feel has the definition of really no risk. Obviously, there's always risk with drafting players in the NFL, but as far as this linebacker class, I think if you're going to take a linebacker and you want him to play probably at the highest level in the class and a guy who's going to plug in right away at a better and play better, I think that's going to be Cedric Gray, and that's the guy out of North Carolina. Like I said, he's got no risk. I think he's a guy who's really just solid at everything. I think he's good tackling. He's good in zone coverage. He had a very solid year in college. He's had solid production. I don't think his run stop is better than his man in zone coverage, but I think it's solid. I think the best part of his game is his play rec. I think he dissects the play well. I think he gets to where he needs to be well. I think he knows where the runner's going well. And I think he has good change of direction with solid strength. I think this is a linebacker who, if you need a guy to play right now, I think he's your guy. If you need a guy who's going to maybe have the potential, I think he's your guy. I think he's going to plug and play, and he's just going to get better as he plays. That's why I like Cedric Gray so much. The only negatives I have with him is that He's very solid at everything, but he's not great at anything. That's the only thing. But I think that if you give him that repetition, more reps in the NFL, he's only going to get better. And I really don't think there's a risk with him. So I think that he's very solid all around. He's just not great at anything. So if he's this solid, he's only going to get better. He can maybe potentially grow into that good linebacker that you need. Maybe a linebacker one on a team, but very solid player. I like Cedric Gray a lot. He's my number one linebacker in the linebacker class of 2024. Cedric Gray, number one. That is going to do it for the episode, guys. I know it was kind of short, but that's all I had to say about the linebackers. I really did not like that class, apart from a couple guys. So that's going to do it for this episode, 2024 linebackers. We are going to be coming back next week with the DBs. I am not sure if I'm going to be combining corners and safeties. I have to decide yet. But overall, what a stat corner class. I have already been watching film, and my God, that is going to be an episode you want to tune into. If you guys have not, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell so you are notified when that video drops. Make sure you leave a comment on your favorite linebacker in the class or any questions furthermore that you have about my rankings. And also make sure you go and check out our previous rankings. We have done the entire offensive side of the ball. We also have done the D-line and edge as we are moving closer and closer to an NFL draft that I'm very excited for here in my hometown of Detroit. So make sure you guys go do all that things I just said, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.